Hello, my name is Matt and I work for Osprey Action Sports. Today I'm going to be showing you how to assemble our Apogee scooter. So some of the things you're going to need before you get started are a 15mm spanner or socket, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 4mm Allen key and a 5mm Allen key. You'll also notice at this point that some of the items in the box do come disassembled from the main scooter. So you can see that we've got our side stand and the 2 accompanying bolts, which are Phillips heads, the water bottle carrier and the 2 bolts, which are 4mm Allen key bolts, and then the handlebars. So let's get started. The first thing we want to do is disassemble the front brake. So it's really easy. All you need to do is grab the 2 brake arms, squeeze them together to release any tension, and then simply pull the cable up, and then you can release the arms, which means that the brakes are disconnected. And we'll do the same for the back. In this instance, I have already disconnected them to save some time, but it's the exact same system. The rear wheel may come assembled, but if it does require any assembly in your case, it's just simply a case of following the same steps as the front wheel. So now that the front brake has been disconnected, we can take the front wheel and start fitting that to the scooter. It's important to note at this point that there's a directional arrow on the wheel which will show you the way the wheel needs to rotate. You can actually also see it in this example that the tread kind of points in the right direction. So what we want to do is simply hold the frame, bring the front wheel down onto the spindle, and then you'll notice that there's some spacers which just slot into the fork leg as well. Then what we want to do is just tighten them. So at this point, it's worth grabbing your 15mm, making sure it's set to tighten, making sure that the wheel can still spin freely and isn't pinched. Now what we can do is we can fit the side stand in order to take the weight off the scooter. So it's a very simple fit. All we want to do is take these 2 Phillips head screws, slot them through and into the bracket. Once that bracket's nice and tight, we can go and adjust the length of the arm. In this instance, it already looks like it's quite a nice length, but we can adjust it anyway. So what we want to do is just take the weight off the frame again, and then we just loosen this grub screw here, and then simply tighten the screw again when you're happy with the length. Now what we can do is we can start fitting the handlebars. So we want to take our 4mm Allen key and simply loosen these 4 screws which are connected to the top of the headset for this clamp. When you take the bolts out, be careful that you keep an eye on the washers which are included, and then just remove the front part of the bracket. Then we want to take our handlebars. We want to make sure that the front of the levers is facing upwards, so make sure they're the right way around, and then simply center it in the clamp. At this point we want to retighten the bolts. I'm just going to do them hand tight while I adjust the handlebars to the correct position. So when you're happy that these are hand tight, now is a great chance for you to adjust the handlebars to a position that you find comfortable. I generally prefer to have my brake levers slightly more parallel with the floor. So in this instance, I'm just going to bring the bars back slightly, and then I'll continue tightening the handlebars. So now that's done, we can reconnect the brakes and put them through the levers so that we've actually got some stopping power. We want to be able to run this cable up to the handlebar. Once that's nice and secure, we can then reconnect the front brake. Again, it's very simple. All we want to do is push the 2 arms together and feed it through the little bracket. At this point, we probably are going to need to adjust the brake. What we want to do first of all is just make sure that the front wheel can spin smoothly without rubbing. So we are hearing a little bit of rubbing, which indicates that one of our brake pads is slightly out of adjustment. What we want to do is just adjust the arm slightly. So we're going to take our 5mm Allen key. We're aiming to have between 1 and 2mm either side of the rim. Now the front wheel's spinning nicely, we can just make sure that the lever's working, which you can see it is, which is perfect. Now it's just time to do the back brake. At this point, what we're going to do is just reconnect the back brake as well. Again, what we want to do at this point as well is make sure the back wheel can spin. That all seems good. And now what we want to do is finally just take the water bottle carrier and the 2 Allen key bolts. It's very simple. All we want to do is line up the bracket with the 2 holes, take our 4mm Allen key Again, it's important to make sure that you use the washers for this. At this point, I do like to go through the scooter again and just make sure that everything that we've done is tight. It's worth checking just before using. And another thing that's worth noticing is that the tyres should be inflated to 45 psi before using. There we have the full assembly of your new Apogee scooter, and we hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.